Ángel Hernández, one of the most controversial and criticized umpires in Major League Baseball, is retiring. A high-ranking baseball official confirmed his retirement to USA Today's Sports' Bob Nightengale on Monday. Over his career, Hernández has become infamous for his frequent missed calls, which have led to widespread frustration among players, managers, fans, and analysts. Even though Hernández worked only 10 games during the 2023 season due to a back injury, he managed to miss 161 calls according to Umpire Auditor. His track record has made him a lightning rod for criticism throughout his career. Here's a detailed look at some of the most notorious moments that have defined Hernández's tenure in MLB. Kyle Schwarber's Meltdown, April 24, 2022. In a game between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Milwaukee Brewers, Kyle Schwarber reached his boiling point after a questionable strikeout call in the ninth inning. Overcome with frustration, Schwarber threw his bat and helmet to the ground and engaged in a heated confrontation with Hernández, gesticulating wildly to express his displeasure with the umpire's strike zone judgment. Bryce Harper's ejection, September 28, 2023. A year and a half after Schwarber's outburst, another Philadelphia Phillies star, Bryce Harper, found himself at odds with Hernández. During a game against the Pittsburgh Pirates, Hernández, serving as the third base umpire, called a check swing a strike, which Harper vehemently disputed. Harper marched up the third base line to confront Hernández and was promptly ejected from the game. The incident underscored Hernández's reputation for making contentious calls that often lead to dramatic player reactions. Steve McMichael's seventh-inning stretch outburst, August 7, 2001. In a memorable incident at Wrigley Field, former Chicago Bears player Steve McMichael, who was the guest singer for "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" during the seventh-inning stretch, publicly called out Hernández for making calls that appeared to favor the visiting Colorado Rockies over the Chicago Cubs. Hernández responded with a fierce glare up at the press box where McMichael was standing, adding to the tension of the moment. Hawk Harrelson's rage, May 24, 2013. During a game between the Chicago White Sox and the Miami Marlins, Hernández made a controversial call at first base that cost the White Sox a potential game-winning run in the bottom of the 10th inning. White Sox broadcaster Ken Hawk Harrelson erupted in anger on air, famously exclaiming, "Oh no. No, no, no. He is safe," and another blown call by Hernández. This incident became one of the defining examples of Hernández's controversial career. 3 overturned calls in the 2018 ALDS, October 8, 2018. In one of the most glaring examples of his officiating troubles, Hernández had 3 of his calls overturned by video review during Game 3 of the American League Division Series between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. The first base umpire's performance drew sharp criticism from Hall of Fame pitcher Pedro Martinez, who stated on TBS postgame show, "Ángel was horrible. Major League Baseball needs to do something about Ángel. It doesn't matter how many times he sues Major League Baseball. He's as bad as there is." Yankees pitcher CC Sabathia echoed these sentiments, calling Hernández absolutely terrible, and expressing disbelief that he was assigned to playoff games. Lance Lynn's double ejection, March 8, 2024, in a spring training game between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Washington Nationals. Hernández ejected Cardinals pitcher Lance Lynn in the third inning after a dispute over a strike call. Later, when Lynn continued to pitch in the bullpen to reach his pitch count for the day, Hernández ejected him again, demonstrating his willingness to assert his authority in unusual situations. Gleyber Torres strikeout, April 7, 2024. Hernández's controversial calls continued into the 2024 season. In an early April game, the New York Yankees' Gleyber Torres was called out on strikes on a pitch clearly outside the strike zone. This call, made after Blue Jays pitcher Bowden Francis had disengaged and quickly returned to the rubber, was widely criticized and added to Hernández's long list of questionable decisions. Rangers broadcast outrage, April 12, 2024. Just days after the Torres incident, Hernández was at the center of another controversy. During a game between the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros, Hernández called 3 consecutive strikes on pitches outside the strike zone with the Rangers' Wyatt Langford at the plate. The Rangers broadcasters were stunned, expressing their disbelief on air and further cementing Hernández's reputation for poor judgment. With his retirement, Ángel Hernández leaves behind a legacy of contentious and often infuriating umpiring moments that have made him a polarizing figure in baseball. His departure marks the end of an era characterized by some of the most debated and criticized calls in the sport's recent history.